Let's go into a bonus section. I'm going to call that section Account for It. So let's take a look at the system from a customer service point of view, maybe starting with items, then maybe looking at order status. We'll take a look at a calendar view, which is kind of handy. Maybe it's very nice to know what's happening on a daily basis, and we can take a look and see what's been booked and what's shipped very easily. Then we'll do some work from transactions, and we'll do some order billing and order invoicing. And finally, we'll end up at the AR customer card and drill down into the order invoice and do some reprinting for some things that are older. Let's go ahead. If we start with our familiar view in Agility, we'll go ahead and look at the chocolate and the s'more item. Just sitting here, if I have a question about an order, I could drill down on that s'mores order by item, and I could see what orders are out there and quickly look at information. It's a little different than Macola because I have access to all the fields in the system at one time. So just sitting on this item here, I could look at the comments, and I could see the shipment number and the tracking number and the pallets and everything right here that were shipped to that customer. If we take a look at the chocolate item, we can do much the same thing here, but this time I'll go ahead and click on maybe a reprint option. So maybe I want to look at the pro forma invoice before it's actually been printed, so I could take a look at that. Again, it's a crystal report, and you can add whatever information you want on your particular order. So I have the tracking numbers now here visible on the pro forma invoice. So that's from an item perspective. If we look at an order perspective, let's look at this component, OE order status. I have a filter on this side, and I could filter for just things shipped if I'd like. And I have two orders that I've been working on. So again, if we look at 83, we could drill down and see the comments right here. And here's order 84 for the chocolate. And we can drill down and see transactions related to this item here too. Again, same access, but just from a order point of view. Let's take a look at that calendar. We created a calendar that you can look at. I'll go ahead and select this filter here for just booked orders and shipped. And I have very little data, but you can see how it's gone. I have, on this date, I shipped these two orders. If I go back in time, I can see orders that were booked. And you'll notice I have little balls here. It'll go red if it's under 50,000, and it'll go green if it's over 50,000. Those things are easily set in the system based on your own daily requirements. So it's a visual way of seeing what's going on a daily basis. Now let's go in and do some work. Here are the orders that have been shipped, and I want to promote those to the billed status. Just sitting right here, I can checkbox these orders. I don't have to go into Macola to do it. I can just click Billing, and I'll go ahead and bill these orders right here. I get an option, would you like to invoice? I'll just say no. Again, this is an option. So now I've gone and I've promoted these orders to the billed status. If I look at a selection grid for orders that need to be invoiced, I have two orders here that I could invoice. So with some companies, maybe it's handy to put the invoice in the box at the time you ship. So what I'll do is I'll click on this order for UPS, and I'll go ahead and invoice it. It's going to get the next invoice number right out of Macola. So here's my next invoice number, and here's all the data that I've decided to put on this invoice. Now, sitting here, I could print it or I could email it. Either way, it's up to you. So this one's complete. And finally, let's take a look at the customer master. The customer master is a view into Macola, either progression or ES, and I could sit on customer 901 and I can look at their card. So sitting right here, I can look at some information. You'll notice it's fairly old, but if I was having a problem with this particular invoice and I'd like to reprint it from time ago, I can simply reprint that invoice. So I have all this information available to me as a customer service person, and I can use it for help doing collections. That's a quick overview of WiSys.